Lord knows I'm guilty of living my life.
Hi, everybody.
Like there's always tomorrow, or making things right. But our days are numbered, like the hairs on our head. And no man knows the hour you'll shake hands with death. You don't have to go home and live up in glory, but you can live forever down here. For all in this world that's uncertain, one thing is clear: you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can't stay here.
Wow, we haven't heard that song for a while. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You know, this is Arson Marsubian, the host for the Papa Soob Says show. It's August the 6th. It's Thursday. I think this is show number 30. And today we got a hodgepodge, a bunch of things to talk about. And one thing was that last night I watched with pretty much all of the family, not on the same place, but the premiere show for this summer, one of the number one shows around, Big Brother All-Stars. Wow, what a show it was. 2 hours, 9 to 11. I'm amazed I stayed awake. But anyway, it was an interesting show. And I'm going to try to give you a little bit of my take on it. And I want you to put some information in the chat box, so I'll stop and take a look at that every once in a while to see who's here. But now, let me give you a general overview of what Big Brother is if you don't know. Big Brother takes 16 people, puts them in a house, and they interact with each other. They play games, physical games that determine who's the leader. It's called head of household. Then the head of household has to select a couple of people to be ejected from the house. But those people can get a chance to veto that, and there's another competition for that. So there's a lot of different moving parts to the show, which is really a lot of fun. And that's where strength, memory, things come in. Well, this year, they have built a fabulous house. I mean, it's first class furniture. It's upgraded. Everything looks great because it's 16 all-star players. Players who have either won or been in the top 3 from past shows. And this is episode number 22. So you can imagine there was a big pool to choose from, and they put together this cast. And let me tell you, I think it's going to be a very interesting show because most of this cast were in their 20s when they first got on the show. Now they're in their 40s or a little bit 30s, 40s. Majority of them are married, have children now. I expect that a lot of the romance and explicit scenes that we've seen in past shows won't be there. I think the show will have a more conservative social game to it because of the tap down of the ages and the response to it. But they're playing the last man standing gets $500,000. So that's a pretty good prize to really focus on what it is you're doing. Now, I had a little bit of, I don't know. There's good things and bad things about the show last night. First of all, they started with 4 at a time being introduced and going into the house. And then those 4 immediately competed in a game. And with the winner to move on to the opportunity, or 2 of the winners to be able the opportunity to move on to competition for head of household. So they did that, and they did them a set of 4s. Well, a lot of them I remember. Some of them I don't remember seeing them before, but I'm sure that my family, Taylor, Morgan, Lori, Brian, Julie, all have seen them and know their personalities. In fact, early on, Morgan came up with Team Cody. So she's already picked her number 1 person. And sure enough, during the competition for HOH, the number 1 HOH this year is Cody. Good going, Morgan. Nice selection, honey. But there's a lot of really good people on this show. So it's going to be an interesting program. But now, there's a few things. I thought there was a lot of overacting last night, trying to feel that emotion and happy and everything, when they really haven't had a chance to get to know each other, meet and feel. So I felt like a lot of times the emotion of happiness and sadness during the competition was forced. And at times I thought the show got very boring. And the host for the show, Julie Chan, is a good host. But last night, because of whether it was the summer and they want to make sure that they get a good audience for the show, I thought there was a little bit of overacting on Julie's part as well. She didn't feel comfortable, didn't look comfortable. Some of the things usually in the past that she's had a few lines and then they go right into the show. But last night she was primarily the biggest star in last night's show. And a lot of times it was a hard time for her to kind of connect with the kids and or the all-stars, I should say, not kids anymore. Trying to get them to follow directions and tell them where they should go, where they should sit, and things, and run them around. Now, the competition that they did at the beginning, they had the 4 come, and they competed in a game. And in some cases, only 1 person won because they had a time limit. And in some cases, 2 people won. So when they got finished, I think there was about 5. They got to compete for head of household. And then they competed. And as I said, Cody won the head of household. But then the other 4 had to pick an envelope. And the envelope, one of them had money and the other 4 didn't. So they picked the envelopes, they sat down, and one of the girls got $5,000. And the others got sent to what is the have-nots. And now the have-nots get cold showers, slop to eat, terrible sleeping conditions. I mean, it's really the toughest part of the house and the show, and you really don't want to be a have-not. And most of the times it's for the competitors that lose. Well, from my perspective last night, the have-not should have come from the contestants who didn't make it to the head of household. I mean, they took people that won and went to head of household competition, and they ended up being have-nots. So I thought that was that was a little bit backwards. That's my own take. I don't, the directors of the show have other things to do, but let's see what else my notes say. But I think in trying to pick a favorite, I like Naomi. I like Christmas. I like some of the other guys that were there. Cody definitely is a competitor and somebody that will light up the show and keep it very interesting. There's a couple of other guys there that talk about trying to stay low. They got eliminated early, so they're going to kind of lay low and see what happens in the game before they decide. But for me, it's way too early to pick a favorite. I don't see how they break out, how they interact with one another, and how they do that, and how they compete before I could say, I think this person is going to win. I want to support that particular person because there's a lot of falsehood. There's a lot of backstabbing. There's a lot of gamemanship that goes into this game. It's going to be all summer long. I think it's going to be a fun show, but I think they got to change it up a little bit. And also that there's always twists in the competition. I think they're going to do this, and then all of a sudden there's a twist that Julie Chan and the producers will throw in. And they threw in a couple last night, didn't tell us what, to reveal those on Sunday. But I thought it was too early in the show to be doing twist and to put that together like that. Let's see. I don't. That's about it. I haven't seen any comments other than. Excuse me. My goodness. I got. Lori says that she likes Team Janelle. Janelle will be a good competitor as well. But anyway, going back, I think the have-nots should have come from the rest of the group that didn't compete in the head of household. And then they had, the fact that the show was live, and you could tell it was live because when the have-nots went to get into their room, they couldn't open the door. The door was locked or shut, and producers or somebody didn't have it. And so the have-nots could not even get in to see what their bedroom was like. They were stuck in this miserable, really narrow hallway. And Julie made excuses for that, apologized. But you can see what happens when you do a live show. Now, I don't know if it's going to be live for all the other events, but the other thing that CBS does is that they stream the whole week in between, and you can buy the link and the feed and watch what they do every day if you want, so that you can see what the real interaction is between them and who's building teams and relationships and how they're doing if you really get in to the show. But anyway, that's my take on Big Brother. We'll see you next Tuesday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. This is Papa Soob saying good night. And again, thank you very much for coming in and watching. Talk to you later. Bye.